Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get
Many
into it.
motorists by duty or for other reasons have to drive a huge number of kilometers every year. Someone winds up the mileage within one city. Others regularly make long trips. Behind all these past kilometers lies a large amount of money spent at gas stations. Gasoline is quite expensive nowadays. To reduce costs, many people decide to install gas cylinder equipment 5th generation. Reasons for the appearance. To begin with, it is necessary to understand what caused the appearance of the current 5th generation of HBO for cars. The whole point of modernization of each next generation of HBO is based on simplifying the transition from one type of fuel to another and increase the efficiency of the system. The previous gas equipment of the 4th generation, after which the 5th version appeared and actively began to be installed on the car, already included an electronic control unit and electromagnetic injectors. This made it possible to guarantee stable operation of the system in various conditions. Compared to the 3rd generation, it was a serious step forward. The main reason for the appearance of HBO 5 is associated with the modernization of engines, safety systems, and other components of newly produced cars. As a result, the 4th generation simply could not meet the needs of car owners in full. New internal combustion engines, where electronics controls fuel supply, turned out to be incompatible with HBO 4. When switching to gas, the ECU started self-diagnostics and gave an error. Because of this, the revs became unstable. The car could stall at any moment. The speed was slow, increased fuel consumption. Experts attribute this mainly to the conditions in which the injectors were working. They did not have enough time to inject a depleted fuel-air mixture. In fact, long-burning gas mixtures were not suitable for the new engines for stable and high-quality operation. The problem was solved by introducing a system of direct injection of liquid gas, which was labeled LPI. Experts from the Netherlands should be praised for the development of this innovation. Instead of dispensers and mixers, a gas injector with its own distribution block is used, and fuel is consumed with the help of a special pump. HBO 5 generation differs in that it uses gas in a liquid aggregate state. The design abandoned the use of a reducer evaporator, since there is no need to convert liquid gas into gaseous gas. The pressure is kept with the help of a reducer. All this made it possible to use HBO 5 on injector engines that meet Euro 3 and Euro 4 environmental standards and are equipped with diagnostic units of OBD, OBD2, and OBD3 types. How it differs from its predecessor. It is quite logical to study the differences between the 5th generation HBO and the 4th generation of gas ballon equipment. As you already understand, given the design changes, the principle of operation of the new 5th generation HBO is somewhat different. The differences are really significant. There are several main arguments that allow to prove that the difference between HBO 4 and HBO 5 generation is really greater than when comparing the same systems of 4 and 3 generations. Control unit. Let's start almost with the main difference between the 5th and 4th generation of gasoline fuel injection systems. The predecessor used a system of pulse injection, which worked at the expense of a separate control unit. Now the gas equipment is simply connected to the standard system. A high-voltage cable is used to exchange information. Ramp with injectors. Their mode of operation remains unchanged regardless of what fuel is used, gas or gasoline. This allows the driver not to feel the difference in the operation of the internal combustion engine. The new scheme of operation of the 5th generation of gasoline fuel injection systems provides for the possibility of connection with the OBD system, which was not provided in the predecessor. The engine does not flood the plugs, they do not form carbon deposits. This helps to increase the service life of elements. The engine switches to a gentle mode of operation. This has a positive effect on the life of the internal combustion engine. Calculation of the correction of fuel supply. In the new generation, this occurs by mass. Because of this, the stability of operation does not depend on the ambient temperature and characteristics of the gas mixture used. Circulation of gas through the lines is constant. It enters through one main, exits through another. There is a difference in the pipelines as well. The new ones are more reliable and stronger. Maintenance. It has become less necessary. In the new system, there is no condensation, and therefore cleaning the gearbox and injector for the purpose of prevention is not required. The only maintenance requirement is to change the gas filter at the same time as changing the engine oil. Periodic cleaning of the gas lines is not required. Contamination in the fourth generation was due to a reaction between the gas and the copper tubing. The new lines are plastic and no reactions are involved. The oil fractions are burned off while the engine is still running. Any contaminants are filtered out by filters on the lines and in the pump. Automatic switching from gas to gasoline and from gasoline to gas under certain conditions can be programmed. The gas injectors of the predecessor got clogged rather quickly, which was due to the installation of equipment in the intake manifold. The new unit has a multi-point system and sequential injection, in which gas is injected simultaneously with a small volume of gasoline. Because of this, there is no such effect as coking. Read also, ways to increase the spark on the spark plugs. All this indicates that the difference between the two generations is indeed significant. Their operation, scheme, and principle of operation are different. At the same time, the current fifth generation HBO has not only objective advantages, but also some disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages. To objectively look at the HBO of the fifth generation and give an assessment of the system, it is worth considering not only its advantages, but also the available disadvantages. Let's start with the positive qualities. The presence of a gas pump gives an important advantage. It is included in the set of equipment and is used to distill liquid gas along the lines to the fuel ramp. This allows you to constantly maintain the required pressure parameters in the system, largely due to the fuel pump and stable pressure. Converted for gas engines start without problems at freezing temperatures. These are important advantages, characteristic for the current fifth generation HBO, which can turn a blind eye to the weaknesses and disadvantages of the system. In the reducer of the system, there is no membrane, which increases the life of the element and better saves fuel. The reducer does not require warming up. That is, you can immediately start the engine without fear of consequences. The new gas-cooled equipment feels good in extreme conditions and reduces the likelihood of engine overheating. The power output is not affected by switching from gasoline to liquid gas. Under certain circumstances, it can even be slightly increased. With quality equipment and proper assembly, there are no unpleasant gas odors in the cabin. The consumption of liquid gas will be similar to that of gasoline in terms of the amount of fuel. But gas is cheaper, which entails significant savings. Gas is almost completely burned. The amount of harmful emissions is minimal. But since the pros and cons are considered here, in addition to the advantages, it is worth looking at the disadvantages that are characteristic of the current fifth generation HBO. Several points can be attributed to the minuses. Increased demandingness to the quality of fuel. This point is considered the main disadvantage and the reason for not such an active spread of HBO5 in Russia as in other countries. Low-quality gas is characterized by a large number of impurities that are not removed by filtration. Gas pump. Behind its advantages and opportunities hide disadvantages. The reason is again in the quality of gas. Because of it, the pump can quickly fail. And this is the main part of the cost of the whole set of HBO. Cost. The HBO5 costs about 3 times more than its predecessor. The more cylinders, the more injectors will be required. From this increases the price tag. Shortage of specialists. The problem is gradually being solved, but so far in Russia there are not so many masters with the right level of knowledge and qualifications. Independent installation and adjustment is a difficult and not recommended. In the case of HBO5, to use methane is impossible. Read also, is it possible to restore the battery with a deep discharge and how to do it? How the advantages and disadvantages are important for you. You should decide on an individual basis. Installation and customization. It is not recommended to put such gas equipment, i.e., the fifth generation of HBO, on the car by yourself. Although the process of connecting to the standard system is easier than in the case of the predecessor. To understand all the subtleties of installation, masters are sent to other countries for training and education. When using HBO5, The registration procedure remains unchanged and does not differ from the installation of other types of equipment. The main stage of installation is the installation of the gas pump in the cylinder, as well as the adjustment of the fuel card. For this purpose, the injection time, fuel proportions, and operating indicators of all units are adjusted. After adjustment, the performance of the internal combustion engine in various modes is analyzed. Adjustment can be performed in several ways: by means of auto-calibration, by the method of course adjustment, guided by the time of mixture injection, the method of rarefaction inside the manifold, with the help of diagnostic equipment. The last option is the most effective in terms of achieving accurate adjustment. It is impossible to perform it independently. Given the cost of buying a HBO 5 and its installation, which is carried out only in specialized workshops, you should think in advance about whether the cost of gas equipment will be able to justify itself. In conclusion, understanding how the fifth-generation HBO operates, along with its installation and tuning process, is essential for optimizing your vehicle's performance. By following the steps outlined in this video, you can ensure a seamless integration of this advanced system into your car. Remember, proper installation and tuning not only enhance efficiency, but also contribute to a smoother driving experience. Thank you for watching, and we hope you feel more confident in your ability to work with the fifth-generation HBO. Safe driving.